Yeah, she's staring at a reflection. She doesn't know what to do about it.
All right, I brought the stream on up.
Hang it on up.
384, 1080.
What is it?
This is why I hate changes.
Yeah, change is no good.
Well, I went from Windows 8.1 on that big Hoss server box, and now we're on a Xeon on Windows 10.1, which was... So, of course, it's going to want to do an update halfway through the podcast.
Hells yeah. Why should I be the only one to suffer?
I hadn't had time to install Chrome yet. I'm sorry. Don't tell anybody.
Nobody.
See, you can't tell. All right, we are on 448, right? 5.3. And of course, the TV is never level.
What is it you guys get up to? Spinning TVs
That may be
around?
one or two video cards.
Well, pretty light.
Yes.
Pretty light on the reviews this week, but we got a couple news items. Either you guys got a pick of the week?
Crap. How about not?
Dude,
Oh, I've got
just
this really cool link to a
got
Google
home.
Docs.
Ooh, that'll work. That'll work. As long as you get to it by the time we get there.
Okay.
Hold on, I might bring.
Man, those are some
Sebastian.
clicky switches.
They are, and I usually turn the gate up to not bring them in. Let's see here.
Yeah, because if Sebastian can come in, he probably has actually read some of these reviews.
All right.
My wife loves Cheez-It and a dirty desk.
Well, here's where we get a problem. Because take the hi-fi cable. I installed the loopback audio in here, but I never set it up in vMix because I was too busy dealing with a Henri Blackmagic card. Going through the deck.
So how many scotches did you get through in the short time you had? Or how much local spirits, rather?
Not that much. I mean, I had a couple here and there, but I think it was the meetup. I actually had a couple of Glenfiddich 15s that was a little higher end on their chart, but it wasn't out of control money wise. So
Wasn't
I
20
thought that was a
pounds.
good compromise.
I'm sure Arm thanks you.
Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get Skype configured up, so I need to kick vMix out again and then probably rewire the mixer to do that. So I don't think it's going to work.
Huh.
I can kick either you
Call
guys
him
out
on
and put.
Skype and put him up on the TV.
Ooh. Well, we just replaced the TV controller with the Raspberry Pi. And I don't think you can run Skype on that.
At least not set it up in 5 minutes.
No. I was planning on setting up Skype earlier today, but then I got here and then we had case cooling issues and then the Quad 2 started freaking out again, which is awesome. So now we have a large fan on the side of the case. So that's fun.
Maybe
Ryzen.
Ryan should just go with a Ryzen for that machine, and I don't know.
I think I'm about ready to snag the open bench table and just use that. Because
There you
cooling
go.
won't be an issue with cooling for that. All right, so Sebastian has faith in our abilities to pull this off. So
Based on what?
I don't know. We'll find out.
She's joining me for the podcast.
Nice.
It seems so.
Kitty.
I mean, software audio mixer seems pretty good. Josh's gains all over the board again, but it seems to have settled down.
Oh, good.
What am I forgetting?
Have you pressed record?
We've been recording for 9 minutes now.
Quality content.
Hey, you gotta give the Patreon guys something.
True.
Something.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're just gonna do a post show. No. We're gonna do a pre and a post show. So I got butt up. What? No, I don't.
Butt up.
Butt up.
Get your butt up. John Laguerre is a wackadoodle. He always looks like he's just crazy. He's on the edge.
Hey. Now the
What
audio
happened?
should be up. You could import the settings, and you have to push a different button to save them. So, no big deal. Josh, you do need a monocle. That would be perfect.
What's that?
MIV said you need a monocle.
I do.
Yeah. All right. Well, Josh, since you seem to have the little bit stabler feed, do you want to anchor it?
Oh God, this is gonna be awful.
I know. It's better than me doing it because I just blah, 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah. Yes, Xmas.
Oh,
they
damn,
did
that's
take
what
a
I was hoping to do.
Well, by all means, if you want to call it, by all means, Jeremy.
Oh no, I'll occasionally.
Yeah, I can do it. I'll try to be interesting.
You're always interesting. You're why everyone
Well, I'm
keeps coming
something.
back. All right, 488.
Yeah.
Subscribe, Patreon, London, meet up, follow up. All right, yeah, we got the Microsoft stories anchored.
I'm gonna take that Cheez-It box and I'm gonna throw it. Be right
But
back.
What does the kitty actually play fetch? Sorry, Cheese It, no free advertising. Why was I receiving 59 megabits for a second there?
I don't know. I mean, it like
It's impressive.
God, I do need to drink more beer. This has been a long day.
well, it's only
Oh,
20 after. Grab another one.
Oh, don't worry, we're both working on it.
All right, so Josh, Jeremy, it's our desktop. There's me. Hello.
Cardboard Ryan.
Cardboard Ryan's stage left, I think. Nope, he's not there.
Nope, you took him away. All right, I guess I'm ready. F it, let's do it live. Let's do it
That-
live.
That's pretty much the plan.
Do the Bill O'Reilly yell. What an a-hole.
Josh, we are hot and we are live. So you are doing it hot.
It's not going to hurt us
Oh, definitely
much.
hot.
Okay. All right. You ready, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Well, that's nice.
You're starting to wake me up again.
Outstanding. Did you read anything about the mesh Wi-Fi?
I read some things about some things.
How about the core? You know
Yes.
what? Why did they use 12 liters instead of gallons for the Corsair thing? The One Pro.
Because it's not a hat. If it was a hat, they'd use gallons.
Right. This is going to be a
Seems simple to me.
disaster. All
See,
right.
this is what happens when the adults leave the kids at home alone.
It's true.
This is what happens.
And
when I
give
have
them
one
internet
more
access and webcams.
and have a job. Oh. All right. Going live in 3, 2. Welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. We are on episode 448. This is being filmed, or at least recorded, on May 3rd, 2017. I'm Josh Walrath.
And I'm Jeremy Hellstrom. And we're all you've got tonight.
I mean, we got Alex. He's the
Hello.
voice in the background.
Yes, the voice.
I like his
behind the screen.
haircut, though. I think it's sharp. Do you polish that as much as I polish mine?
No polishing needed. It's just naturally that way. I'm that
Wow.
awesome.
Some people are blessed. As you may well or will not know, it is only Jeremy, myself, and Alex because Ryan, Alan, and Ken have all left the building. In one case, one has left the country. He's busy recovering from
Off to
May
get
Day in
happy?
Paris. He went out and dressed in black and masks and started some fires. I'm sure his visa will be revoked shortly, but for the time being, he's enjoying the neighborhood surrendering to him. So,
And thankfully,
we're-
Marie Le Pen didn't catch him.
yet. But anyway, we're what you got. If you want to talk to us or email us, you can email at podcast@pcper.com. You can watch this and other reruns at pcper.com/podcast. You can see the fine list of invigorating, illuminating shows that we have done in the past. And maybe I'm really talking about one or two of them. Otherwise, it's just dross. You can
If you
follow us
splice
at
about 100 of them together,
boy, that would
you'd actually
be
get
just
some
your ears
quality.
would bleed, and maybe even eyes.
No, just 30-second bits. Hopefully, not even complete sentence. At that point, you'd get something
it'd
quality.
be just Muttley laugh the entire time. You can follow us at twitter.com/Ryan Shroud or twitter.com/PCPer. I'm twitter.com/Josh D. Walrath. Jeremy, you've got a Twitter account, don't you?
I'm just Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm sure you are.
At Twitter.com.
You know what? If you really want to expose yourself to this kind of drivel, and you have not signed up for our email yet, you can do so. You can get notified by our spam list when we go live. Typically, this is right before podcasts. It's before special events like Tom Peterson coming on. I think we may have some other guys from the other side coming on later on in a couple of months here. You need to keep track of it because usually they talk about a lot of stuff, and often there are giveaways. So this will not be distributed to anyone else. There's a little privacy thing there. And yeah, this is only for use by the PC per people and the fine people at Google Drive and Documents. That's not true. Just us.
Yeah, none of us have quite clicked that link yet.
We have not clicked that link, but I've known two people who have.
I know several. We had to send out.
Yeah.
a
Well,
notification
luckily,
today.
one guy had double authentication,
Good.
two-step authentication.
Smart kids.
Yeah.
Oh,
Practice
always.
safe surfing. Double authenticate.
Yes, do it. You know what? If you really like the products that we deliver on a daily and weekly basis, you might want to consider donating to the Patreon, because the more money we receive, the more often I get to be away from work, and the more often I can say inane things online. Or perhaps, hire more writers, get more content up. When you have different pledges, you get little gifties and nice things that Ryan has allowed, and such as private links to playbacks of the pre-show and other such things. I was about 50 pounds heavier in that shot, just so you know. Okay, not really. But yeah, join the Patreon. Throw some money at us, and you know what? We'll throw you content in return.
Yay, content.
Sure, content's
Some of it might even be quality.
Maybe.
bet on it, though.
No. But anyway, something that was kind of fun that happened last week. Ryan and I were in England. We got to visit the nice people of ARM in Cambridge. Talked about many things that eventually you'll find out. But we decided that we would spend one night in Paris. No, that's a terrible movie. We spent a night in London, and we had a PC Perspective meetup at a very nice bar there at the hotel we were staying at. About 25 people showed up. We were quite surprised by that amount of people, especially getting into central London is not always easy in the evening, as far as I know. So we had about, again, 20, 25 folks. I never got to see a whole lot of London. We were just driving through, got to the hotel. I checked into my room, ran upstairs, went to the bathroom, freshened my face, powdered it, and then went downstairs and joined the fun. And we had a great time with all the folks that showed up. Sorry for all those who were not able to make it. ARM sponsored the party, so there was lots of free drinks. There was canapes. How do you pronounce that?
Canapé.
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 Also pronounced.
Right.
Wait, was that fish?
No, it was not.
I hope that was
So,
fish
yeah,
because
it was,
otherwise,
it was a good time. The alcohol flowed. There was much talk. Dom from Mobile Tech Talk, he showed up. He had actually a couple of interesting little things. Ryan had 2 Chromebooks passed around. They will be given away. I think that giveaway has closed. I'm not sure if there's been winners announced. I've been head down in work since I got back, and it's been miserable. I mean, I like my work, but it's just a lot of stuff catching up. So yeah, that was London in a nutshell. It was a fantastic time. We hope that sometime to be able to do it again in the future. Um, I believe here in this next month, I'm planning on having another meetup down in Fort Collins. Details are still sketchy, but we'll see what we can do to, be able to spread the love, if you will. I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for joining us. PCPerspective.com. Blah blah blah.
hooray!
Yeah. No, you're not that you're not that lucky. We have news and a couple of reviews. The first review up is the Mesh Wi-Fi performance benchmarks: Eero versus Google Wi-Fi versus Amplify HD. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Mesh networks are not like a single Wi-Fi and repeaters. It's a little bit more complex than that. Yes or no?
This is true. Like essentially, they're programmed to be able to hand off more effectively. In some cases, as the review shows, there was one that was not actually doing that properly, and a lot of just signal uh, checking, like a lot of error corrections, so that you're not just throwing a repeater in and garbage keeps getting spread further and further. This helps out a little bit, but for the most part, it's just a really easy way to extend uh, Wi-Fi signal throughout your house without wiring, without having problems with repeaters, and for the most part, line of sight. These are a little bit better at that. Although, of the 3 models that Jim tested out, we've got the Eero, Google Wi-Fi, and Amplify HD. They're I'm trying to get the pictures matched up correctly here. So the first one was the Eero, which looked just essentially like 3 different tablets. You plug one in with your Ethernet. It will now notice that that's the WAN port and now happily rebroadcast out to the others. It does have a wire on it if you want to be passing through to another device that's wired up. The Google Wi-Fi looks like some aspirin, 2 tablets sitting on top of each other. Again, the same sort of an idea, but with some added sort of interface features that made it a little bit easier to be able to get at what is going on inside the devices. And lastly, we had the Amplify HD, which has a cube-shaped primary one, big enough that there's a little LCD display on the front that will show time, just sort of, basic handy things. It's also got a very, very basic web interface. So if you can't, for whatever reason, get at it through your cell phone, through your network, you can poke and prod a little bit at some basic settings and some really weird secondary stations. So the antennas will sit somewhere. You plug them in, but you'll see that the top bit is actually magnetically connected via the ball, and so you can disconnect them. The one thing that Jim had found out is that, well, they're stuck there fairly well. If you got kids, you're never going to see these again because they pop off just easily, and away you can walk them. A dog's tail would probably knock one off as well, but at the same point, it is a little bit better than having it break in half. So we did some testing with all 3 of them, and for the most part, they were very, very similar, except in the case of Google's Wi-Fi. Now, when he was running his meshed tests, he found that in some cases, as he walked around, once he hit the 3rd, 4th, and 5th location where he's far away from the base signal and doesn't necessarily have the best shot at one of these secondary stations, it died completely. He looked into it, played around with the settings, and realized that the handoff was not going cleanly. So the other two devices, the Eero and Amplify HD, no problems whatsoever. The second that one of the secondary or tertiary signal became stronger, it dropped the initial one, moved to the current one. With the Google Wi-Fi, it sort of picked one it liked and it didn't want to let go of it. So he ran into some issues. Once he ran the tests again, disconnecting cleanly and reconnecting, for the most part, the results were pretty much straight across the board, although Google was still a little bit slower than the other two. So hopefully that's something that's going to be fixed. It's obviously a software issue as opposed to a hardware issue, so it's totally repairable. And he also tried it doing the backhaul tests, and again, pretty much exactly what he was seeing previous. It you plug it in, and you're going to get some good solid connections. The pricing, if I can find the right page, is interesting. So in each case, you get a 3-pack, being a base station and 2 secondary stations. So the Eero is going to run you just short of $400. The Amplify at $340, and the Google Wi-Fi is about $300. On the other hand, trying to wire your house is going to be significantly more expensive. Ryan and a couple of the guys have done stuff with Ethernet over power, which has worked okay, but again, you're not necessarily getting the same flexibility as you do with the mesh systems. So overall, Jim really did say it. Apart from the fact that Google Wi-Fi just it's not stable, or it's maybe got relationships issues and just doesn't want to let go when it should. But of all three of them, it's handy and bloody convenient. And at the end of the day, he would say go with the Amplify's favor, as it's just more responsive. You get good accuracy on any of the reports that are going. And the other thing is that because it's the larger box one, you've got 4 wired ports sitting on it. So it's easy to get a router going in if you want to set up a secondary network for your IoT crap, or you just need a plug for whatever reason because Wi-Fi is being annoying. It's interesting. I think we're still not quite the very beginning of mesh networking, but it's still definitely early days. There's not that many competitors, and it's a bit of a niche, so the price points are maybe a little bit higher than you'd want, especially if you're looking at a larger property where you want to extend it further and you're getting a third or a fourth secondary station. It can add up. So, I mean, if this is the sort of thing you're looking for, take a look at the review. There's some good data in there and a really strong conclusion as to which one you should go with, even if it is a little more expensive, which is, not shocking at all.
Yeah. Wireless is nice, that, wireless that works well. It's a handy thing. Doesn't work well, makes you pissed. I guess the Eros is the price of sanity in many cases, but yeah, you gotta plug each of those units into a wired Ethernet. So the handiness goes down dramatically when you start thinking of wiring like a 120-year-old house again. So, moving along. The Corsair One Pro review. Ken has taken a look at this monstrosity, and it kind of is. It's a neat looking all-in-one that is pre-built, featuring high-end components. It's kind of got the whole Tron look. There are angles and some neon lighting, and
It does have a nice glow to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool looking thing. And it's only 12 liters, which is what, 1.5 gallons? Maybe 3? I don't know. I didn't pour
Depends on which
anything
gallon
into
you're
it.
talking
So,
about, but yeah.
yeah. But anyhow, it's based on some pretty high end parts. A 7700K CPU. GTX 1080. It's got plenty of memory. It's a custom MSI motherboard. 960 gigabyte Force LE. That's handy. Interestingly enough, it's a small form factor, 400 watt, 80 plus gold power supply, which, if you kind of look at it, I guess that the GTX 1080 is not pushing real high power. 7700K is 93 watt TDP, so it's pulling maybe 100 watts at most. It's not
I'm dumping it
it's
into a
not
very
crazy.
small space.
Yeah, it comes in a very small space, but it's $2,300.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's you pay for what you get there. I mean, it's nice stuff. But if you were to build one yourself, you'd be looking probably around 1,500 to 1,900, depending on all the different components you've done. But this is, an all-in-one. This is a small form factor. It's 12 liters, for goodness sakes. It's stylish.
It
It's
would
got
fit
great
in a bread
glow.
box.
It would fit in the bread
I don't know
box.
if it would or not. It's
A
it's
good
very
bread box.
imposing.
Yeah. So it's a neat looking part. Ken reviewed it. Performance is right in line with what you expect. It's a solid gaming system. The only one real issue that they had, if you can go back to that picture, is that when they put it together, if you look at this picture, you'll notice an issue. That's right. They didn't quite get those tabs in there as they should have, and they are poking
Mhm.
into the USB port, which is problematic.
Just
And the
shove it in
Hey.
PS2
there.
port. My God.
Yeah, PS2 port, a couple of USB 2.0. It's VR ready. It's got 3 super speed USB and a Type C. So it's nice there. But overall, Corsair has done a really nice job packaging all these parts. It's it's still a pretty, it's not super high end, but it's a high end gaming machine. It performed well in the variety of tests that they've done, and the packaging and support and all that is really, really good. And so, it performs like where you're supposed to be, but you're paying $300 to $400 extra to get this kind of performance. But again, it is a unique solution. Apparently, it runs fairly cool. The the graphics card is actually water cooled in this, and so it's a neat product. If you decide to be able to spend that kind of money on something like this, but Corsair, they're good with support. They make solid products, and I'd have no problems at all owning one of these. Except, of course, I probably wouldn't, because I just want to build myself something in a big box, something that can handle maybe 48 liters.
Yeah. At least.
Yeah. Any other comments about that, Jeremy? Alex?
Well, the tech report was a little braver than Ken and did crack it open, because one of the things that Coursera sort of said is that, well, it is a complete unit, works, don't necessarily stick your fingers into it. They did say it is user serviceable. And so they cracked it open, and as you'd expect, I mean, it is crammed full. It's a lot to fit in that thing, even with the SFX power supply and the GTX 1080. That's a huge volume of space right there. When you crack it open, the hoses from the radiators don't let you fully get it open. So you'd actually need to completely remove part of that to be able to get at everything. And the one upgradable part that is there's an empty M.2 slot inside there. You've actually got to remove the video card with water cooling to be able to get at to install it. So while it is serviceable, you're going to want to plan your afternoon. Okay, that's the end of it once they pop the cooling off. And if you scroll down a little bit, you can see. Yeah. So there's the radiator, bit of the GPU. But again,
Huh.
because you
And look at all those cables attaching attaching the motherboard outputs and video card stuff to the outside.
Yeah, it's neat. You look at it, and once you start thinking about it, it's like, yeah, that's impressive engineering. And it's going to be hard to fit all those screws back in if you take it apart.
The one thing I did notice when I was moving around the studio here, it's a lot heavier than it looks.
Well, it's almost 8 kilos, isn't it?
It's got some heft to it. There's a lot of metal in it. The only thing I could think of is it looks like it would probably need to be cleaned pretty often. If you have any pets, it might be a problem, but it looks like it tears down pretty easy.
No, you take it to the gas station, pump the PSI up on the tire pump, and just lower.
Blow away.
Should be fine.
Let's spin those fans and do some induction.
Yeah, see if we can get some voltage going back into the motherboard for a change.
Yeah, that'd be
Backfeed
great.
those VRMs. Good idea.
Yeah, handy doing that. Those are the only reviews. It's been kind of crazy with myself and Ryan being gone, and we've got all kinds of stuff coming up. It's not even funny, but
You're
now
going to
we're
get
on
it
to
up
news.
soon tonight, aren't you?
No,
You got
too
something
tired,
coming
too much
soon.
beer. What?
Yeah, fair enough. But
Anyway,
you were just on the brink of releasing.
nope. I've been working on some ARM stuff,
Ah.
and it's not anywhere near being released. Hopefully tomorrow.
well.
Yeah. I spent 3 extra hours at work that I was not expecting to be. So that
Yeah.
kind of screwed any kind of riding this evening. But
know the feeling.
yeah, no podcast sponsors tonight. Thank goodness. We're tired of talking about mattresses. Know what I mean?
And
No?
razors.
Razors. Yeah, something I really need. Alopecia.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're on to news. Slow down there, partner. Maybe wait for Microsoft to push out the Creators Edition. What is this about, Jeremy?
It's about a Windows update because they're very
That
exciting,
sucks.
and everyone wants to talk about them. I just went through it today because it was supposed to kick off at 1, and since it was still going when I got home, obviously it didn't. But the thing is that with the Windows 10 Creators Update, you've been able to download the image and install from scratch or do the update manually because it hadn't been pushed out to you yet by Microsoft for a reason. And that reason would be that as they push it out to more and more systems, they find more and more fail states and fix that which is broken. So with a bunch of people, they're running into, and the most ironic thing is it's bloody Vista all over again because it's driver problems. It's drivers that aren't compatible, but at a system level. So as opposed to just my peripheral ain't working quite right, doctor. It's boop. I'm sorry, I can't boot because something's not firing up, and I'm very unhappy about this. So it's becoming less and less of an issue as more and more get pushed out. Thank you for removing my NVIDIA driver and replacing it with Catalyst again. I want to figure that one out. But they're going to figure this out. That there's enough metrics going back that they see these fail states, they see the errors, and it's going to be being applied to a more and more broad categories of hardware because unlike Mac users, we're all nut bars with a bizarre assortment of ingredients underneath our desks. It's not the same hardware in every system, and it is a bit of a nightmare to support, as both Josh and I know personally, and I think a lot of people watching probably have already encountered as well. So
Yeah, there
up
was
to you.
one nice
You want to upgrade?
Yeah, there was one nice issue that we had that I got to experience with is that a guy loaded on a bunch of programs on a brand new install. He restarted once and logged back in, and 30 seconds later, it just shut down. I mean, it didn't blue screen anything. It just did the round circle shutdown, and it shut down. He logged back in again. 30 seconds later, it shut down.
Good
And
night.
we had no idea what was doing it. We disabled all kinds
Well, you
of
don't have time to
things.
fire up Event Viewer, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was ended up just wiping it and reinstalling and hoping it doesn't
Oh,
show up again. So yeah, this has not been, Windows 10 has been really kind of interesting. It's like Vista on steroids.
yep.
And Vista was not a positive thing. But
No.
it sure as hell was seemingly a lot more stable than Windows 10. So we made the
Oh,
mistake
I
of,
think you've got rose-colored glasses on there.
okay, it was
Vista
pretty
was
crappy.
not that stable for a long time.
Yeah,
It
but
got
after
better,
it's been
but
out for almost 2 years now, Windows 10, and they have these kind of issues with major updates. Vista at least had
that I
service
cannot
packs
disagree with.
that made it better and
Yes.
better. It wasn't great, but it was workable. Wasn't Windows 7? Damn it, it was workable.
It went
This
from,
is
like, non-name brand macaroni and cheese to Kraft Dinner.
yeah.
It got a little better, but it's still not that good.
No, no. But anyhow. Moving along. Microsoft announces Windows 10s for education. And this is bundled with a new Surface, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep,
Microsoft,
a brand
they
new
had a
Surface.
big deal, and Sebastian covered this pretty extensively. It's a new Surface book, and it's pretty shiny. And apparently there's some there you go. That's better. But Windows 10s
190
is
bucks is
what's that?
190 bucks for the hardware is worth knowing because that's what they're aiming at. Yeah, you
Yeah.
paid 200 bucks for it, kids, so expect 200 bucks.
But isn't this like 999 bucks?
Well, one of them starts. Like, you can get more expensive versions.
Ah,
But the education one, yeah, the Core i5 model. These not all Core i5s.
hmm. Guess I
$3.
don't know enough here. The problem with Windows 10s is that it is limited to Windows Market apps, correct?
You are correct.
Yeah.
Unless you pay extra to get that box unchecked.
Yes. So it's free until December 31st to get that box unchecked to upgrade. But after that, you have to pay 50 bucks to get the higher version of OS so you can run things other than what's in the Windows Marketplace, which is interesting. But is it that far off from like Chrome OS? I mean, Chrome OS
No.
has apps that you get from their marketplace.
Yep. And they've
Yeah.
got the dirt cheap model, and they've got the shiny, why are you charging me this much for this thing model? And the Surfaces proved to be like when it first came out, I was agreeing with the CEOs of MSI and Acer and Asus saying, you sell us software, don't take away from our hardware. What are you doing? And well, no, it's a model just to see if this would work. And I thought, yeah, it's not going to work. I was wrong. The Surface has taken off. Surface is a decent product, and they've had some missteps with the Windows RT and the ARM powered ones that didn't really run Office all that well. And the Windows S just it honestly it confuses me because there's a lot of people who are going to pick it up, and it's going to be like the original netbooks where, oh, it's a cheap computer. Well, it's cheap. Technically, it's a computer, but you're going to be disappointed. And I think a lot of people are going to run into that with Windows S because they're not going to realize. They're not going to read the sites to say, oh, well, I've got to pay 50 bucks in the next couple of months to be able to upgrade. Come January, I'm stuck with this thing. And by January, you probably already hate it already, unless, you're just looking for an overblown cell phone. I don't know, Mike, a lot of Microsoft's marketing right now just confuses me utterly. And this is just another one where I keep reading into it thinking I've got to be missing something. And it's, no, this is just like, okay, it's cheap, but seriously?
Yeah. It's it is a competitive market. People want those education dollars. They're not willing to spend a whole lot, but the money's there and it's pretty constant through school district to school district. So somebody updates to this, buys a couple hundred of those books, times that by 1,000 across the US, and it's a significant market. So
Yep.
it's interesting to see Microsoft's solution to this. It's pretty good looking hardware. I mean, they've got what, Alcantara fabric in there. Same thing
I
on
do believe they
steering
have that
wheels.
fancy steering wheel leather you like.
Yeah, it's nice. But yeah, that thing's kind of tiny. Looks good. It's got the Surface mouse that you can buy with it. Yeah, it's
So it really
solid.
has felt handrest.
Alcantara.
Same difference. That just
No,
seems
it's
like
not.
a
Leathery, not
Microfiber
felt.
versus natural pounded fiber.
it still seems like a
Natural
magnet
pounded.
for palm cheese.
No, it's not. Alcantara
This is
washes
true.
easy,
Oh, okay.
cleans. Yeah. So,
Awesome.
and so we already talked about the new Microsoft Surface laptop announced with the Windows 10s. So we can move on,
You can.
right? Right. Intel gives their Atom C2000 a longer half-life. Now, if you remember correctly, a couple of months ago, we talked about this, seemingly ad nauseum, because I like to sound intelligent and use big words. But Intel's C2000 series of processors, which are aimed more at appliances such as NAS, such as routers, like my PF Sense box at work. It runs on a
Yep.
Atom C2000. All of my Synology NAS boxes, they run on Atom C2000. And it had the terrible and unfortunate thing that if you run it at high enough power and TDP, it would just stop working if you rebooted the thing. And that was because physical migrations within the chip would render it inoperable. Well, apparently, Jeremy, did you write this? Who wrote this?
Yeah,
Yes, Jeremy
strangely
did.
enough, I wrote it.
Okay, you better take over for me because I'm clueless now.
Well, as you probably are aware, there was a hardware patch at the motherboard level pushed out, which would save you if your Avaton hadn't died yet. So, still a lot of pissed off customers, but hey, at least if you have something that's on the brink of dying, you can leave it and it will continue to use. So, they've released a new stepping of these chips. So, any products that are going to be coming out as of about, I think it was a month ago when they did it, but they didn't really announce it until about this week. They're going to not to die. Like you could actually go and buy something and it won't just drop dead in a couple of months, which is, as I hear, a very popular feature in the market now. So when I'm looking at this, and there was a huge list of things because mostly we knew about the NASA's, but for the story that I linked to, it's a bunch of like low powered servers from ASRock, Aaron, HP, Netgear, Quanta, Xenix, News, like huge list of people that are buying the Avatons because they're very low priced and they're very low powered. And hey, when they work, they work. It's great. I'm just hoping that AMD sort of looks at that and goes, we've got a couple of chips that fit into this marketplace, and they might not have this problem with the LPC and migration physically in the chip. So maybe next time you upgrade, you might want to think about us because we didn't die recently. So don't worry about buying a new product. But if you're going out shopping for any of the products that Josh has mentioned or that we've linked to in the past, take a look at when it was made. Just about everything's been pulled off the market right now, but there's always those couple of boxes that got left. Make sure it's been made fairly recently. You're going to be fine. If you've already got bit by it, well, there's not much I can say that is going to make you either angrier or happier.
Hmm. Well, good news, bad news. Seemingly the bad news is behind us, and the good news is, well, tenuous at best, depending on the manufacturer implementing this in firmware. Anyhow, moving
Patch
along,
early,
AMD.
patch often.
Yes. And I do on my Synology boxes. In fact, it kind of forces you to. It's strange, but it works. A couple of driver releases. AMD releases the Radeon Software Crimson Live 1744. What games does it support now? It's what?
Well, it adds a shortcut to
Warhammer
Quick Champions.
40,000.
Yeah,
Dawn
Dawn
of
of War
War
3.
3. Nice. Yeah, that just came out.
And it, yeah, I got it with my 1080 somehow. It was awesome.
Oh,
I haven't
nice.
played it yet, but then who the hell has time to play games nowadays?
Not me.
So apparently, there was a bit of a kerfuffle with this in that there was a desktop shortcut dumped on your machine to join the Quake Champions beta. I don't think a lot of people were really upset by it because there's a lot of people wanting to get into the Quake Champions beta, but at the same time, a little bit of dirty pool without a check mark to say, yeah, don't add that to my desktop. For users of the new Polaris, the 580 should see a little bit of gains, especially under Dawn of War 3, but from the notes, there's a couple of other performance boosts that you're going to see on Polaris Enhanced. And yes, you're even highlighting something for me. Oh, right. 550 is apparently hard locked, which I hadn't heard about.
So
hey,
new GPU.
If you got a 550, yeah. If you've got a 550, definitely upgrade right away.
Nice. Well, it's you got to admit AMD has really improved on their driver side tremendously. It's not nearly the issues that they used to have, and I think in ways they're right up
Well, and
there.
I
with
like their new
NVIDIA.
front end.
Yeah, they've done some.
But I like their new
they've
front
done
end.
some good things. And speaking,
There's a
of
lot you can
NVIDIA,
do without having to load. Am I cutting out again?
well, kind of in and out.
Okay, I was just gonna say.
Sounds like you're really waiting for us to catch on to what you're talking about. You're kind of getting Shatner like.
I hope. It's a Canadian thing.
It is.
It just
NVIDIA.
every once in a while.
They've released the new GeForce 381.89 drivers. Again, I'm guessing Warhammer support. Wow. look at
And not
that.
just that, but the Rick and Morty VR driver.
Ooh.
Here is the Storm 2.0, Batman Arkham VR, virtual reality. Wilson's Heart. I've heard
You
interesting
know
things
it.
about it. Yeah.
So have I. It looked like the screenshots I've seen of it are very, very weird, but hey, that's VR for you. Let's figure out how to do it properly.
Yeah.
And that one's
So
interesting.
according otherwise, idle voltage reduced in some circumstances. Crash in the Sniper Elite 3 has been resolved, and 2 blue screen instances have been fixed. So it's nice that all things are moving forward, and we like new updated drivers. I should probably do that on my own machine, but I don't play anything, so what's the point?
You get to play driver games. You like driver
Yeah.
games, don't you? Yeah,
Yes,
there you go.
I do like to install drivers and see the enhancements they bring to my usual desktop and Google Docs experience. Anyhow.
That's why we all do it, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Acer announced the Predator X27 gaming monitor, 4K and HDR at 144 hertz. That really hurts. Acer's been pretty much top of the game lately when it comes to monitors. They had some really interesting products. And this is adding upon that. So 4K HDR, 144 hertz, 27-inch LCD. And scroll down a bit. I think it's not TN, is it? No, it's quantum dot technology. So it's
Yeah, this is the first QD one.
nice.
This is the first one that hit the market over here.
How much is that monstrosity? They even mention in this so far?
If you have to ask, Josh,
You can't afford it. Wow, that looks sharp. I like the base.
yeah,
It also
Get
has
3
the
of
eye
those.
tracking.
it
Oh, it does.
Yes.
See those 2 red dots? Well, I track like the wind. It's shattering my boundaries. And it even overclocks up to
Arma fans take
165
note.
hertz. Wow. Yeah.
Now, wasn't
that's,
this the one that Ken was asking why the color that they sacrificed the colors or the chroma subsampling to make it 422
I'm not sure.
just to get the extra refresh rate out of it?
I mean, I never pay
I'm trying to
attention to
remember.
Ken anyway, ever since, grew
Fair
up.
point.
Yeah. Became his own person. It's less interesting.
Oh, they grow up so fast, don't they, Josh?
Yeah, that's gonna be pricey. I would expect that to be in the 1,500 range with quantum dot and these kind of
Yeah,
things, eye tracking
easily.
included. So it's a neat. Acer's really kind of they really are pushing the design, and we like that because for many, many, many years, monitor technology just blew, didn't advance. Everybody had an
long?
LCD.
I mean, how
I
many
would
years did we go without really talking about monitors? Like,
probably a
it
good
was
10
just,
years,
yeah, it's
2000,
IPS or TN.
2004, 2005 to about 2014,
Yeah.
2015, when things started getting interesting
And then
again.
all of a sudden, 4K,
Boom.
variable refresh rate,
Yeah.
HDR, all at once.
Hey, look, the cat's getting up. Hey, kitty. Kitty.
Show
She
us
don't
your
care.
bum. You know you
No,
want
I
to.
don't. No, she's leaving. She's had enough of my talk.
That's what cats do.
Well, it's what women in my life do, but what can you do? Vega's specs grow less vague. Now, apparently, there was a release of a AMD Linux driver that pointed out some pretty particular specifications of upcoming Vega. Jeremy, did you write this as well?
Strangely enough, I did.
And get
I
to it.
don't actually remember doing this in the middle of today, but I apparently
You
I
did.
did.
I remember you talking
So
about
in
it.
this, yeah. So there's 2 types of DRM. There's the bad guy, and there's digital rights management that we all hate. And then there's the portion of the Linux kernel which deals with graphics, which is also called DRM. Now, when you're releasing a brand new card, you have to make sure that it's going to work on Linux because thankfully NVIDIA and AMD have agreed that this operating system is not going to go away and that it's worth supporting. So when they put out the new version of this, it's an AMD driver that they have released that has to be compatible with Direct Rendering Manager. They released some information because it needs to know what hardware exists and what hardware to address. And it looks good. Vega is looking kind of sexy. So you got 64 compute units, which each have 64 graphics core next.
What?
Sorry?
There's 4 shader engines. And then, yeah, then I guess sub
4096.
units.
Well,
Stream
obviously you read it,
processors?
Josh, so carry on.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Well,
No, it's at
4090
12.5 teraflops. The latency to Canada tonight is horrific.
Yeah,
It is.
we might have to find
The
another
horror.
It
solution
really
for
is.
this.
the horror. So yeah, you can see on there 12.5 teraflops, 64 ROPS, 256 TEX units, can handle up to 8 hardware threads, and of course the HBM2 2048-bit memory bus, which is going to give you some serious bandwidth, far more than what you're going to get with GDDR5 and 5X. So that's going to be really nice. Low latency, low power, good stuff. Now, what people are talking about is, will the overall performance match up with the teraflop specs? And that's a really big question. Certainly, they've got all the building blocks there to make a really fast card, but again, we're not expecting this until a couple of months' time. I mean, it's going to be here sooner than perhaps we think, but not as soon as we hope. So that gives you a general idea. But new specifications and some actual concrete features that we know about is a good thing. It's going to be pretty fast card. Nonetheless, just going to be interesting to see where it stacks up with NVIDIA's line. And that's the news.
And if I'm back,
You're
if I'm
kind of back,
back,
yeah.
I can't wait to see what this memory is going to do. Like HBM, it wasn't bad, but it's HBM2 that I want to see what it's going to be capable of. That's
Yeah.
fat pipe. Fat pipe.
We can only hope. Anyway, hardware, software picks of the week. There's few of them. I got one because, it's a couple of years older book, but you know what? Read a book. Do something crazy. Buy it on Kindle. Buy it in paperback. Brandon Sanderson. He's a lot of fun. Way of the Kings. Stormlight Archive. Book
He
1.
is.
Very enjoyable. So far, I'm about 3/4 of the way through it, and it's hard to put down. At first, it starts off a little clunky because you're jumping all over the place, but then you get to know people and you're interested in what each one is doing. Excellent story. Some interesting twists and plot turns. So, yeah, do something strange and read a book. Jeremy, did you find anything in the last minute?
I'm working on it, but I think my latency's gone insane again.
Alex talks about the Zero
it's
dash cam.
This little thing, little tiny thing, and it was like $50. Dash cam, $50, 32 gig card included, runs all the time. It's great. You ever get in an accident, you have video evidence. And that's better than nothing.
Are you Russian?
No, but I have been run off the road multiple times.
Nah.
That stuff doesn't happen in Wyoming much.
Not
So
very
I don't
often.
have one. Probably should
Well,
get one. but-
unless it's wildlife.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of that here. So, Jeremy, I see you popped one up. Sure. Talk about it.
It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. And shockingly enough, I was kind of amused that the first time I posted about this was back in 2014, almost a month, April 30th. Game developers develop a game in their mind that is much, much larger than they can possibly afford to make when you actually start programming. So the original Stalker, old game that many of you probably remember, was originally intended to have vehicles, weird little wizard guys, a whole bunch of more fauna. It was about 15 times the size in land area as the game ended up being. They found some of the alpha that they did, and a programmer's name I can't think of right off the top of my head right now, essentially went and fixed it up to an almost workable state. Almost workable being the key. It was a lot of fun if you could get it to work, but there were a lot of people who just had a crash a desktop the second they tried to launch it, no matter what they did. today has been announced the director's cut of said Stalker Alpha, which has a bunch of stuff brought in from Call of Pripyat and some of the sequels to it, including not quite modding, but upgrade systems for your weapons, your armor, your flashlights. Because let me tell you, if you're out in the dark in Stalker, you shouldn't be in the dark in the zone to begin with. If you are, you want a bloody flashlight, unless you're going after the invisible guys, in which case, well, welcome to the reload screen. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass to install, as was the original, but it's worth giving it a shot if you played the original Stalker and have good memories of playing the game, or you have absolutely friggin' no idea what I'm talking about because you're young enough that this game was out. Well, you wouldn't have been able to play it. Honestly, give it a shot. Assuming you've got the time. I have it queued to download. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to play it. I bloody well have Call of Pripyat that I haven't played yet, but I'm hoping to get at this because it looks like something special. And I can remember playing the original Stalker back when I had spare time, and still have fond memories of things eating my face. It was an interesting game.
It's a hard game. It was a hard game back in the time.
It is not easy.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to be lucky and good and both.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it was one of those ones where you didn't used to have to deal with weapon degradation. And well, Stalker, well, your favorite gun. Sorry, she's gonna die.
yeah. Anyway, that's the show for this week. You can, again, find us here at pcper.com/podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, most of the social networks. Okay. Pretty much those two. I don't think Ryan has an Instagram account. Kind of pointless. But
I hope not.
yeah, but this was a a short, sweet, sometimes painful, and sometimes filled with Jeremy. But anyway,
Which is
I'm
both
Josh
short and
Walden.
painful. And I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
Oop, there you are. I'm Alex.
And that's it. That's our cobbled
And Jim's probably hiding in the background.
podcast. Ooh,
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
is that a Jimbo? Maybe.
Maybe.
Anyway,
All right,
guys.
a Jim hiding somewhere.
Enjoy the evening and good night. Flickr. I don't have Flickr.
Flickr.
I don't have a Flickr either.
Flickr. Wow, that was all right. I've had worse.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to use Skype. How cool is that?
Well, it's working for you, but Jeremy's not having a very good time at this.
Well, I mean, I like it, but there's just this weird, and it's not buffering.
Yeah,
It's all of a sudden Firefox just starts downloading at ungodly rates. I mean, there was a little bit where my upload speed dropped to like a 10 kilobits or so. But for the most part, it's these giant spikes of download that all of a sudden I'm cutting out. And don't sue me or anything, internet provider, but I bet you it's Shaw. They've been really pushing their VoIP that you can get Shaw VoIP. Ooh, you can get phone on your computer. And it's not quite at the point where we're doing court cases, but it's pretty damn obvious from people running Wireshark and that yeah, when you're using an alternate VoIP, they start doing things to it.
Yeah, we don't really have the ability to tweak on that too much. I mean, it's through the vMix call interface.
Yeah, no, it's, and honestly, I mean, it's Firefox. It's a Firefox instance that's coming in. But I mean, just running this and a couple of tabs open for news and that, I'm at about 14 Firefox instances. And there's one that just every once in a while pops up and just blat, it's downloading at 70 megabits, which is higher than I usually see doing anything.
That's a lot. And I mean, we have a VPN endpoint here, but I don't want to add any more latency on top of what we have right now because we get the crosstalk.
Well, and there's no guarantee that you actually get a clean connections via that way either.
Right.
That is some impressive lag from what shows in the video and what comes out of your mouth.
And there's a thing, right? It's audio, it's not video, right? Video every once in a while.
At first, I thought you were doing some ventriloquism shit.
Yeah, the audio leads, and it's anywhere from like 100 milliseconds to like 2 full seconds, and it's
that's insane.
It keeps doing this.
Rubber bands.
Oh, it'll catch up, and I'll get all Alvin and the Chipmunky.
No, it doesn't pitch shift, and your audio stream is stable, but the video stream it leads, and then it leads more, and then it catches back up. It's really strange.
Maybe I should try it in Edge next time.
I doubt.
Yeah, somebody said you should yell, "Oh no, it's Godzilla!"
Oh no, it's Gojira! This is his original name.
I don't know.
It's going to do it again, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
Gojira.
Hi guys, my boss is calling me from the phone installation I left him in, and I've got to get back to that. So,
all right, go back at it.
Talk to you later.
Text him and say
Good
his
night.
phones don't work. Good night.
Nah.
Y'all have a
All
good
right.
one.